Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to episode 3 of the KTM Rebuild Budget Series. Things are moving along really well. Parts are coming in. I've got parts on order. We got a lot of work today, so let's get going. Okay, guys, so here are just some of the parts that are starting to come in, and there's more that I just can't quite share with you yet because it's going to give away the overall final thing of the bike. But I got a new tire. Look at the tread on that, the tread lugs. I didn't realize how roached the other tire was until I actually compared it with that one. So yeah, I just copied the tire that's on it. That's a Maxxis there, so we're going to put a Maxxis back on it. And we've got a Pivot Works. It says it's an upgradable upgrade kit for the rear, but I don't really know what that consists of. But we knew we needed wheel bearings for the back, and this is the wheel bearings for the front. Now, I will tell you something now. I get a lot of my stuff through Motorsport. I'm not sponsored by these guys. Usually takes a little while to get some of this stuff, but from the time I ordered these parts, the box was on my doorstep. From the time I ordered it to the time it was on my doorstep in 2 days. So I think one of the first things that we're going to tackle here today is I'm going to get the rear tire off. We'll get the chain guide off and the brake caliper, get this whole tire and wheel right out of the way. Then we can start working on this swing arm and get this polished up, looking good as a completed assembly. Then we can set it aside. Then that will be all ready for when we start putting it back together. Then we'll start addressing the sprocket and whatever else we need to do on this wheel. One of the first things we've got to do is we've got to get this nut loosened up. That wasn't bad. So, you know, something like this nut, we can polish this up. And this is all aluminum. Wow, it's wicked light. We can polish this up and we can make this look just like new just by polishing it. Whenever you're doing something like this, it's always good to use like a rubber hammer so you're not staving up stuff. And see, you got a little bit of corrosion in there. You can see that, and that's probably, looks like moisture. That's probably from pressure washing it, and that's probably why those bearings are a little bad in the back. I'm just going to go real gentle so I don't lose any pieces and parts. Yeah, that actually feels kind of notchy too, guys. This must be that upgradable bearing thing. I will put this back in. And we'll put the block back in, and we'll put on the nut. And now we'll just set this aside as a completed assembly. Then we can just clean up everything all at once. This is pretty ingenious design. I kind of like that. Just slide that down. Okay, right? Yeah, slide it onto there and off it comes. And the previous owner already put previous brakes on it. Wow, carbon pads from EBC. So he bought good stuff. He didn't skimp out. Everything that he did to this bike, he did first class. So now we'll take off this chain slide. I'm sure you guys are wondering why I have that on my finger. I'm sure you guys are gonna ask. Well, I wish I had a cool story to tell you, but I don't. So I was carrying a laptop in my right hand and walking up a set of stairs, and as I was going up the stairs I tripped and drove this finger right into the stairs, and I heard the sound, and then it got hot and I could feel the heartbeat in my finger, and then it immediately started swelling up, and I knew what I did. So I've probably broken every one of my fingers except for my thumbs at least 2 or 3 times over the years. They've all been broken. That's from motorcycles and basketball and stuff like that. So there's nothing that you can do when you go to the doctors. Unless it's dislocated, there's nothing that the doctors will generally do for a broken finger. So they'll put one of these on. So I saved myself a doctor visit. I know what a broken finger feels like. Went to Walmart, threw a splint on it, called it a day. So Yeah, no fun. Broken fingers aren't fun. But that's what happened. I was hoping it'd be some cool story to tell, but no, I tripped going up the stairs. And as usual, I take everything that I take off the bike and I put it in a Ziploc baggie. And you can see this is something that came off something that I had. And I just save any Ziploc paper bags that I can, plastic bags that I can get, just because it makes it good for keeping stuff like this together. So now I don't have to worry about the screws coming out, and plus it makes it clean, stays clean too. So when you're done, you can put these parts back into a clean bag, and they stay nice. And you see again, I'm just putting all the fasteners back together, and we'll clean this assembly up as all as one at some point in time, but not right yet. Now, because I want these clips oriented how they are, you can see one is open towards me, the other one is open away from me. I'll just take a quick picture of this and make sure that I know what it looks like, so when I put it back together, I got something to reference. Just like that. Then I put them in a little small bag. Now I put them in a baggie so I don't lose the parts. Now this is a good example of why I don't label bags anymore, because one, you can't reuse the bag, and two, it wears off. So I write down what the part is on a little piece of paper, then I tuck it inside the bag, then I can reuse it again over and over. Alright guys, so this is the part I really love. This is where I get right geeked out, because this is the stuff that all of us can do that really doesn't cost us any money. So I've got to wear some gloves, so I had to take off my little finger splint, but yeah, I don't know if you can see it, if the lighting's any good here, but yeah, you can see up on my knuckle, it's all swollen up, and it's kind of like yellow, so I just have to be careful I don't keep hitting it and busting it over and over, because it's trying to heal up. But so this is what you need to do. This is what I'm going to do. I got some kerosene. Now, if you guys are, you know, avid motorcyclists, you probably would have kerosene around anyways. That's what most chain manufacturers recommend that their X-ring and O-ring chains be cleaned with, is kerosene. So you can get that at Walmart. You can get it anywhere. I put it in this squirt bottle. That's how I clean my chains. So you should have this around. It's a great degreaser. I'm going to use that to degrease any of the spots that I see around here. Now, what you want to do, so you don't make a mess of your workshop, is go up and get one of your wife's baking sheets and take it right out of the cupboard and bring it into the workshop. Don't tell her. Don't let her see you doing it. You're going to want to smuggle that out of there. Either do it after hours or tuck it in your coat or whatever, because she's not going to go for this. So, but grab the plate, and that way it'll keep your workspace from making a mess. If you bring it back to her, make sure you clean it up good. This one's beyond repair, but yeah. So I've commandeered this, and I'm using some waterless cleaner and some Scotch-Brite pads. It's a red Scotch-Brite that I cut up into little small squares. I've got a little brass brush. And I got a little nylon brush. Now, the great part about using kerosene versus water is I think these bearings are all good. So originally I was thinking we were going to replace these swing arm bearings. I don't believe we have to. We're going to clean them up and re-grease them, but we don't really want water getting in there. That's the worst thing for it, and have moisture and condensation building up. Same with the bearing for the shock. So this, however, will not bother the bearings if it gets some kerosene in there, because obviously it's a oil-based product. So this is where we're going to just start cleaning things up and starting to degrease this and getting this thing looking brand new. So this is a bonus, guys. I can just sit right down, relax, and enjoy myself. This is fun. So you're going to want to wait. I was able to get my glove on over my my bad finger there. So you're just going to want to spray a little bit of kerosene and use one of your brushes. Pick one. I'll probably start maybe with the brass. This is like some thick... Oh, look at that, guys. It just eats through... Oh, wow. This has had the chain wore into the swing arm here at one point. So you're going to want to wear glasses, safety glasses, because you don't want kerosene getting you in the eye. That's not good. So that's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to go around, I'm going to find all these little oily, greasy spots, and I'm going to clean them up with this kerosene and just brush it down, wipe it off. And then once I have all the oil and grease off it, then we'll go through to the next step. And if you have one of these nice fabrication tables that we built, you can put a clamp on it and clamp it right down like this. Hold it right in place real good. Look how good that's coming out, guys. And all we've done is just literally used kerosene as a degreaser, and we're just scrubbing it down with a brass brush. It's going to look even better once we go over it with a Scotch-Brite. Now I'm just going over it with a nylon brush, a little bit softer to help kind of get into some of the crevices a little bit easier, a little more pliable. Now anywhere that I see a casting flaw, guys, I'm fixing it. Or not even a casting flaw, but damage, I'm trying to fix it. Let me show you. So you can see right here, I'm not sure what happened, but something nicked right here, and there's a little lip. And I don't know what caused that, but I'm gonna fix that. And what we're gonna do is just run a flat file over that, smooth it up and clean it up, just so it looks better, so it all kind of blends in and it'll look like it's part of the casting. We don't have to do it, but it just makes for a better job. There, and that's cleaned up nice now. Now that's another reason why to have this table, you know, to have this part clamped down to this table. And for you regular guys that watch this channel, you'll know that we built this, and I'll have a link up above, you can check it out, but it just makes it nice when you can fasten down your workpiece to what it is you're doing, because it makes it secure. You don't have to worry about it flopping all around. I can even add another clamp to the back. It's just an added thing to help hold it down, you know? There, and that's absolutely not going anywhere. So now we got that little burr all cleaned up, and we'll just kind of give it a quick once over on the top so it all blends in. There's no sharp edges, and that'll look like it came like that. There, now look at that casting on that side, guys. You can see we fixed that damage area, we kind of blended it a little bit, then we went over it with the red Scotch-Brite and some kerosene, and you can look just quickly how much better it kind of looks than that side there. You know what I'm saying? That versus that. I just think that that looks a little bit better. We're not looking for a polished finish. We don't want to shine. In my opinion, if I'm going to start turning this to like bright chrome, I don't like that look. Not on aluminum, not on something like this. The goal is to just get this so it looks like factory original casting. And the Scotch-Brite and the kerosene, and then this waterless cleaner is going to do that. So we're going to go over the whole thing, like I said, with the brush, continue on, getting all the stains and grease and grime off it. Then we'll go through with the kerosene and the Scotch-Brite. Hopefully these chain adjusters come out. And of course these chain adjusters, at least this one, is seized right in there. So, and I ordered new ones, so that shouldn't be a big deal. Well, look at that. I've got a thin, deep 13mm socket. Let's see if a wrench is too fat to fit over it, so let's see if we can back it out with an impact now. I doubt it, but we'll try. Yes, we did it! Look at that. great. Okay, so I ordered this nut right here. I ordered that new, so we don't have to worry about that ever happening again. Awesome. All right, well, we got lucky there. Can we get lucky again on the other side? Wow, that's great. A lot of times what will happen is that this bolt will get seized right in that hole, and it'll just make a huge mess trying to get them out. So we got lucky. So good. Got it clamped back down. Now we can continue to clean. This is the underside. We can continue to clean this up, make it look real nice. It's getting close, guys. It's getting better and better. Still got a little bit more handwork to do, but it's a huge improvement to what it was. See that? That's pretty close, guys. You guys, all I'm doing is just taking a little bit of that kerosene and I'm just rubbing it down with a piece of Scotch-Brite. I'm still using the same piece of little tiny Scotch-Brite that I started out with. This is the original piece, so I could obviously get better results by probably getting new, but I kind of want it, you know, as it dulls down, I don't want it to leave scratches. So this is kind of getting, like, I guess, matted down and not as aggressive, and I'm okay with that. So you can see now that there's a bunch of like pits along this, along that. So I'm going to take some probably like 320 grit sandpaper on a palm sander and just kind of go over that. And you can see that there's a little, almost like wear mark there. I'm going to try to kind of like feather that in. And I'm going to try to feather in this little scrape right here. You know, I'm not looking to get it perfect because I'm going to have some stickers on the swing arm, but look, another little area there. It's like a little something banged into it or whatever. I'm just going to try to smooth out these little nicks here and there, just so it looks better, that's all. And there's going to be, along this, there'll be stickers on the swing arm too, so most likely, I mean, we're not looking to get it perfect, but we're looking to get it really good. Alright, so this is nothing fancy, just a regular palm sander for like wood or metal or refinishing or whatever. This is 320 grit wet or dry sandpaper, and I'm just using it dry. There, look at that guy. Look at that. Now it looks nice, huh? Now let's hit this with our Scotch-Brite pad and kind of like flatten it all out. What do you think of that, guys? I think that that is pretty good. What would you say? I'd say that that is satisfactory to me to put back on the bike. That looks good. We'll just get the rest of it looking like that. That's the real-time results. Didn't take long at all. Guys, this thing is looking really good. Now that's smooth. When I run my fingers over that, I don't feel any like nicks or abrasions, or, you know, over the years you bump it into something, dump it, rock hits it, makes it sharp. That looks really good. That feels good now. So there's a couple little spots on the bottom, like here you can see some little chunky things here and there, but you know what, I'm not really overly concerned. There's a little spot right here. I'm not going to go too crazy, but when you look at this bike, it's going to look really good. Let's face it, guys, I've done things that are 100% perfect, and what happens when you do that? You're careful, you're cautious, you don't want to ride it, you don't want to hurt it, you don't want to damage it. No, this is a bike I'm going to use all the time. I'm going to drive this bike all the time. That's the intent for me to do, is use it. I'm going to jump it, do it, dump it, whatever you know, those are things that are going to happen. It's going to get dinged up. So for me to try to get this to look, you know, as though it's never ever had any damage or it's a brand new bike, that's not reasonable, because then I'm going to be too careful to want to use it. So now I bought this to use and run, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. And these Scotch-Brite pads, guys, I just get them from the local hardware store or local automotive store. Then I just cut them up. Just cut them up into small, manageable squares. I think that that's how I get the most use out of them, and it works the best. So, yeah. Now I just got a bunch that I can grab when I need them. All right, now you can see I got a few areas like in here that need to be gotten a little bit better. So now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to use the kerosene anymore. I really don't need it. Now I'm just going to use a waterless car wash. And this is what I use on all my bikes. Like I said, I'm not sponsored by these people at all. This is just stuff that I'm using to try to help you guys out. But I use this on to clean my bikes. That's what I clean my street bikes anyways. Not so much probably the dirt bike because it gets so grunged up. But yeah, this will act like a cleaner and a lubricant for these Scotch-Brite pads. And if you've never smelled this stuff, it smells so good you can almost like drink it. Oh, love the smell of it. It just smells so clean. And we're just going to go through and start polishing things up a little bit, scrubbing them. So while I'm here, I'm going to, these linkage bearings are good. I'm just going to tap them out and lube them up. Oh yeah, look, those are real good. Yeah, these have been taken care of. He said the suspension was done not long ago, so like right before I bought it, and you can see, yeah, that's all new grease. You can tell that that's just been redone. So yeah, that's really clean, guys, so we don't have to worry about it. Those bearings and bushings look really nice. So I'm just going to put a little bit of grease around it and put the bushing back in and call it a day. And although this stuff is a pain to do, sometimes like taking your suspension apart, this right here will save you a lot of money. Because I can tell you right now, these bushings and stuff, they are not cheap getting these from KTM. Not cheap at all. There we go. And you know something, guys, it's like doing little things like that. Like that only took a few minutes to pull that apart, clean it up, and inspect it inside. Saw that the grease looks good, cleaned everything up, wiped it down, and added more grease, and then pushed the bushings back in. And when you do that, that's going to last a long time now. That's one more thing that you don't have to worry about, and you can just kind of like put it down on your list of like scheduled maintenance to do. Because if you don't do it now, you know, how do you know? You know, you're just going to start getting clunky sounding suspension, and that's no good. So then you're constantly like working on it. You know, if you can start from like a baseline scratch, then you don't have to worry about these things. Like, I'll know this suspension is good for a while. Next year, I'll probably just pop it apart real quick, take it apart. There won't be any stuck bolts because we'll stay up on top of it, and then grease these up, put it back together. You know, rather than having to strip the whole thing down like this into a huge mess, I can literally just pull the swing arm off real quick and grease it, put it back in, call it a day. Makes it a lot easier doing it a little bit as you go versus having to do it all the time because it's breaking down. Alright, so now I'm doing the same thing with the swing arm bushings. I pushed out the little caps that are on the end, and now I'm going to push out. Oh yeah, these are all good. Yeah, somebody took care of this. Yep. Oh yeah. Yep, that looks good. What I'll do is I'll kind of like run some paper towel down through it and try to clean up some of that old grease and get it out of there and force some new grease down in it. Alright, now with it all cleaned out, I'll pump some grease into it. There. Now I'll just put a cable tie through it, so because now the bearings are all lubed up, I don't want them to fall out and get dirty. So there. And now they'll stay right together inside the housing. And now I just got to do the other side. Same idea. There. So we got a little sidetrack. So I put a cable tie through to keep those bushings in. Those bushings are in. They're all greased. Everything's good. And now we can get back on to cleaning this. But yeah, that saved us a lot of money. That's probably you know, if this was buying it through KTM, it'd be like $300 just for these. So they're wicked expensive, but everything I've heard is that the KTM ones are the ones to buy. Thankfully, this has been maintained. I don't know if these are the original bushings to this bike, but they're tight and they've been well lubed. So that's all that really matters to us. Oh, this looks so good, guys. I'm so happy with how this came out. Probably put some sort of sealer or wax on here just so that this stays nice for a while. And like I said, I keep my stuff pretty nice anyways, and I wash it when I'm done, and I take good care of my stuff, so keeping this looking nice shouldn't be a hard time for me. Like I said, I don't go too nuts, but I do like to keep my stuff clean, and I do like to take care of myself. So when I'm done riding, I'll wash it off, clean it up, and, you know, service it every year like you should anyways. And here it is, guys. I am super happy how this came out. Like I said, it's not perfect, but boy, it's pretty good. So I've got cable ties in all of the bushings, so none of them will fall out. And everything is all greased and ready to go. I've got this all cleaned down. Like I said, it's not perfect, but it's really close, and it's going to look really good. And the new design actually has stickers on the swing arm. It's got like a black, I can't tell you. I want to keep it a surprise, but they're coming, let's see, the plastics are coming from Italy, and the decal kit, I think, is coming from the UK. I'm not sure, but there's definitely a language barrier that I'm having between these two countries and these two manufacturers of plastics and graphics. They're two different people, and I've had a hard time trying to convey what I need. So hopefully I get what I need, but we'll find out. Like I said, there's a language barrier here, and we're having a little bit of difficulty, but I suspect the parts will be here within the next, hopefully, couple weeks. So now that we've got this all done, I'm going to put this aside, and we can start cleaning up other parts. But boy, this, I wish you guys could just feel this. It's so smooth. It's just like silky smooth. And, you know, again, like I say, it's not absolutely perfect. There's a little ding there. But all in all, you can see a little scratch there, but the decal will cover that. But all in all, it looks pretty darn good, and it should function well as well. All right, here's the next part that we've got to restore. And I don't really know how this comes apart. There's a nut there. I know that that will turn. This is going a little, there it goes. A little dry in there. Yeah, see that little pivot pin, guys? A little rust on it. Oh, I think that pin does come out, guys. That might unscrew. Yeah, it does. Look. So that pin unscrews from that caliper. The reason this got so corroded is it looks like when this got put in, it didn't get put in right. You can see there's a little lip all the way around inside here that this has to snap into to make a seal to keep water out of there. Well, it looks like that got rolled back, probably because there was some crap inside that inside this groove that didn't allow this little lip to go in all the way. And what happened was then when you wash the bike or whatever, it was trapping the water inside there, and it was rusting out that right there. And this needs to slide smoothly in and out of this, so that your brake pads wear right. But I mean, not a big deal. It's a pretty easy fix. We'll clean it up, and yeah, be a piece of cake. So if you guys follow me on Facebook or on my YouTube stories, you'll know that I just drove to the store in 31-degree weather on my motorcycle to grab some wheel cleaner. Now this is an acid-based cleaner, and I'm going to use it to try to clean up some of these aluminum parts that are just bare castings. They don't have any rubber on them or whatnot. But whenever you work with, you know, anything that has an acid, make sure you wear you know, gloves and face protection. I probably should have like a shield, but I don't have one. So at least, at the very least, just wear, you know, glasses. All right. Let's see how this does. A little brush here. Let's see if this. Wow, it looks like it's really brightening it up. But it's hard to say. I'll have to look at like some before and after stuff. Wow. I feel like it is, guys. You know, I'm not really wanting to use like a mag wheel polish on this stuff because I don't want it polished. I want it just kind of like probably how it would have been from the factory, which would have been kind of dull, you know? Yeah. Ha! This stuff is brutal. This stuff's rugged. I gotta turn on a fan. So you can see this casting is broken here. Something was hooked to that. I don't know what it was. It's nothing that I noticed when I took it apart. So probably what I will do is I will just grind that off just to make it so it's not noticeable, so it doesn't look like it's broken. Yeah, guys, half the time when you're doing a project is figuring out what works. You know, what products can you use, what don't work good, what do work good. And yeah, this is one of those products that you could probably get away with not even doing any brushing, but I am, just because I think it's going to probably give you a little bit better job. But. All right, let me go rinse this off and we'll see how it looks. There's really no debating whether or not I'm using this stuff. It's absolutely perfect. That casting looks as though it came off the factory floor, and that's no joke. I am completely happy with this. Yeah, that's the stuff we're using. This cleaned it up flawlessly. Wow, yeah, look at the back. And look at that. That looks, that came out awesome. I'm wicked impressed. Wow, yeah. That's the stuff, guys. Get it right at O'Reilly's. It's Eagle One mag wheel cleaner. It's like $6, I think. If you haven't seen this tool, go ahead and check that out. But yeah, this is my portable bandsaw stand that I built, and this will work perfect for getting this chopped off. So all I'm going to do is just nib off a little bit of this. But you got to be careful grinding aluminum, because the aluminum will fill up the grinding wheel and they can explode. So you just got to be real careful. So I'm going to make it so that I don't have a lot to grind. I'll mostly shape it with this. Now I'll just touch it up on the grinder wheel just to get it just perfect. I mean, look at that part, guys. How clean that is. That looks like it just was built. I mean, that's how it would have looked from the factory. That stuff is awesome. All right, now what I'm going to do, guys, I'm just going to touch it up with a flap wheel. I'm not going to put it on the grinder. There, look at that, guys. Cleaned that right up so it doesn't necessarily look like a broken part. Now that we got this all clean, we certainly don't want it to get, you know, in the workshop, get dirt and dust and overspray on it. So go get your wife's Ziploc baggies out of the kitchen, but don't tell her that you're using them for this stuff. And yeah, then you can keep your parts all nice and sealed up. But yeah, don't get in trouble. Because if you ask her for Ziploc baggies, she's gonna say no. So you're better off just taking them. That way you can get your project done. Sometimes it's just easier to beg for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission. So that's that's what I do. All right, I know I know that I'm probably not supposed to be doing this, and I hope that it's not going to come back and bite me, but I'm going to try it anyways. And worst case scenario is I'll have to rebuild this. So, but my desire to have it look good is overriding my common sense, I think. But we'll see. We'll see how it works. Wow, check that out, guys. I'd say that looks just about brand new again, doesn't it? Look at that. I just can't get over that, how good that came out. I'm impressed. So the next thing I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to put this together as a completed assembly. And let me show you how I'm going to do that. I'm going to take and put a little bit of silicone compound. This is a basically like a grease, and it keeps rubber so that it's pliable. And that's kind of what we want, and kind of prevents friction too. So I just put a little bit right around that shoulder right there. Now we're going to tuck it right into this where it came from. There we go. Alright, so that takes care of that. Now we'll just kind of clean that head up a little bit. There. See, so now that's got a nice coating in there, and it just nice and flexible. So we don't want these pins to corrode anymore. So what we're going to do is just put some high temp brake grease inside these boots, and put a little dab on this, coat them up. That way they won't rust. And the grease will help keep out the moisture and water from pressure washing it. Alright. There. Oh yeah. There we go. See, now that'll slide nicely in and out of that. And for me, guys, this is how I like to do projects. This is the way I prefer to do it. I prefer to take an assembly, clean it, and then restore it. And now I'll put this completed assembly away. Then when it comes time to put the wheel back together, I'll know that this is done 100%. So we never have to worry about that. You can hear the grease in there. That's smooth, nice and smooth. We'll put a little bit on the shaft. And we can always clean up our mess after. You know, we're going to try not to get it everywhere, but you know, if we get a little bit of it here and there, it is what it is. Yes, so just like this. Okay. And then this goes like that. Okay. So we need to put some grease down in here because we certainly don't need that corroding again, do we? See if we can get this in here. I have a feeling now that there's grease in here, it'll probably go together a lot easier. Probably rolled the last time because there wasn't any like grease in it. Yep, we're in good shape. Okay, that's it. Snug this down. And this completed assembly is done. There. Then the next thing I got to do is I got to take this air box all apart, this whole rear frame assembly, clean up all the aluminum because I have new plastic coming, so I want to be able to put it all back together and have it look like new. So we got to clean up all of this. I got to clean up the exhaust. You can see how this decal, you can get replacement decals for the muffler, so I'm going to get a new replacement decal, so this will look all new. And then I got to go through and clean the shock and the triple clamps, clean up the gas tank, but you guys get the idea. You guys have seen me do this enough now. So that's all there is to it, guys. Tune in next week. Hopefully we can do a tour at the powder coaters and I can show you how they're doing this frame and how it's done, and they can explain it to you. This place is awesome. They've got a huge oven, and they already told me that I can do a tour of the place and film it and all of that, so it should be pretty cool. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. If this is something that you like, please don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. If you're wondering what I'm working on before it makes it up to YouTube, you guys can catch me on Facebook and on Instagram. I'll have links down below. Until next week, guys, I will see you then. Take care, stay safe, see ya. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye.